A wife was kicked out of the house when she gave birth to a black child of a different color, but 30 years later the husband had to face the horrifying truth. The person who saved his life was the very child he had heartlessly abandoned. Jason and Emily are a young couple, living in a beautiful small house in the suburbs. They are deeply in love and have spent many happy years together. Their life is even more complete when they welcome their first son, William. William has bright white skin, blue eyes, and golden hair, inheriting all the beautiful features of his parents. Jason and Emily see in William their future, a smart, cute, and energetic boy. Their family becomes an ideal model in the eyes of friends and neighbors. Happiness seems impossible to break. Every day that passes, Jason and Emily feel like they are the luckiest people in the world, having each other and having William. Their love and bond grew stronger, especially when they learned that Emily was pregnant for the second time. When they learned that Emily was pregnant, both Jason and Emily were filled with hope and excitement for the arrival of their new baby. They prepared everything from a new room to cute little clothes. They imagined happy moments when they would see William playing with his little brother or sister. However, the day Emily gave birth, that joy quickly turned to horror. When their second child, Michael, was born, both Jason and Emily were stunned. Michael was not like William. He had dark skin, a stark contrast to the fair skin of his parents and older brother. Jason, standing by the birthing bed, felt like his world had been turned upside down. Shock quickly turned to doubt and anger. Jason could not understand how a white couple like them could have a black child. Doubt began to creep into his mind, making him wonder if Emily was cheating on him. Emily, who had just gone through labor, looked at Michael with confusion and worry. She couldn't explain the situation, but she clearly felt the change in Jason's eyes. The conflict between them quickly escalated. Jason no longer trusted Emily as before. He began to avoid her, no longer talking or sharing like before. Every time he saw Michael, Jason felt a painful betrayal that he could not accept. The arguments became more frequent, and each time, the two felt more distant from each other. Finally, Jason could not bear it any longer. He decided to divorce, took William with him, and left the house they had shared. Jason believed that he could not live with a woman who had betrayed him and a child he did not believe was his. Emily, despite her attempts to explain and plead, did not want to hear any more. He took William with him, leaving Emily alone with Michael, the child he never wanted to see. Emily, heartbroken, faced the bitter reality. She was left alone not only with the responsibility of raising Michael, but also with the pain and humiliation of being abandoned by her husband. She knew she had to be strong, but the pain in her heart made everything extremely difficult. After Jason and Emily divorced, their lives took different turns. Both faced new challenges, especially in raising their children and trying to overcome the trauma of their broken marriage. Jason took William with him, leaving Emily and Michael. At first, Jason tried to make up for William by providing him with everything he could. But without Emily by his side, raising William became more difficult than Jason thought. Not only did he have to deal with the pressure of work, but he also had to try to fulfill his role as a father, something Emily had always helped him with. William, although still young, began to feel the change in his life. He missed his mother and younger brother, but did not understand why things had become like this. Instead of explaining things clearly to his son, Jason chose to avoid and keep silent, making William gradually feel lost and distant. As William grew older, the lack of love and care from his mother began to take its toll. William became rebellious and began to seek satisfaction from pleasures outside the home. What began as harmless fun soon turned into all-night parties, and William eventually fell into a life of debauchery. Jason, preoccupied with work and his own problems, did not notice the change until it had gone too far. William's life became increasingly out of control. Partying and drug use became a daily routine. Jason, despite his best efforts, could not control his son. His efforts to pull William out of the rut only strained their relationship. Finally, with no other option left, Jason was forced to take William to rehab in the hope of saving his son from addiction. Meanwhile, Emily stayed with Michael. Despite her broken heart and life becoming more difficult than ever, Emily was determined to raise Michael in the best possible way. She knew that she had to be strong, not only for herself but also for her innocent son. Day by day, Emily poured all her love and care into Michael, making sure that he did not feel deprived of affection even without his father. Michael, thanks to his mother's devoted care, grew up to be an intelligent, polite, and hard-working boy. Even without his father, Michael always felt the love and support of his mother. He quickly became an excellent student at school, always getting high grades and being loved by his teachers. His thirst for knowledge and passion for learning led Michael to the path of education, where he constantly strived to achieve outstanding achievements. Emily, despite facing many difficulties in raising Michael alone, always kept her faith in her son. She knew that Michael had the potential to be a successful person, and she was willing to do anything to help him achieve his dreams. Emily's sacrifices not only helped Michael overcome his initial challenges, but also helped him develop an admirable perseverance and determination. While Michael progressed further in his education, William sank deeper and deeper into his addiction. His escapes from rehab, his desperate visits to find his son, all only made things worse. William seemed to have lost all sense of direction, and no matter what Jason did, he could not get him back on track. William's life was dominated by drugs and bad decisions. Jason, watching his son spiral downward, felt completely helpless. His efforts seemed to be in vain, and he began to blame himself for not being able to keep his family together, for the mistakes that had led William down this path. Jason's despair grew as he realized that he had not only lost his wife and young son, but also lost William, the only pride he had ever had. Eventually, when William became completely consumed by drugs and lost his sense of purpose, Jason knew he had failed as a father. Putting William in rehab was his last resort, but even that option did not guarantee his salvation. While William's life was filled with mistakes and addictions, Michael followed a completely different path. Raised with love and care by his mother, Michael grew up to be a passionate young man with a thirst for knowledge. From his early years of school, Michael showed intelligence and acumen, especially in science subjects. Emily, with her tireless love and sacrifice, always encouraged Michael to pursue his passion. Although life was not easy, Emily always did everything she could to ensure that Michael had the best conditions to develop. She always reminded her son that hard work and perseverance were the keys to opening the door to success. After graduating from high school with excellent results, Michael received a scholarship to one of the most prestigious medical schools in the United States. This was a major turning point in Michael's life, but it was also the result of years of hard work. Michael entered medical school with great excitement, but also knew that the road ahead would not be easy. The challenging years of medical school shaped Michael into a strong and determined man. He not only studied hard, but also spent a lot of time researching, participating in internship programs, and helping patients. Michael quickly realized that to become a good doctor, he needed not only knowledge, but also a kind heart and empathy for patients. Emily, watching her son achieve success she had only dreamed of, felt incredibly proud. All her hard work and sacrifices had finally paid off. Michael had become not only a good doctor, but also a respectable person with a kind heart and dedication to the community. Meanwhile, Jason's life had taken a turn for the worse. The years of loneliness and the stress of raising William had taken a toll on his health. Unhealthy habits combined with constant stress had led to Jason developing lung cancer. At first, he dismissed the mild symptoms as just signs of old age and fatigue. However, as his condition worsened, Jason was forced to face the reality he had terminal lung cancer, and his time was running out. The years of living alone, far from his family, left Jason not only physically exhausted but also deeply wounded mentally. He could not stop thinking about Emily, about Michael, the son he had abandoned since he was young, and about William, the son he had not been able to save from the wrong path. In his final days, Jason knew he needed to find a cure, even if only to buy a little more time. He was referred to a large hospital where one of the best doctors in the country was working. Little did he know that fate had arranged for him an unexpected encounter. After being diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, Jason had few options. He decided to go to the large hospital he was referred to, where one of the best doctors was working. He hoped that with this doctor's skills, he could buy a little more time and reduce the pain caused by the disease. But Jason had no idea that this encounter at the hospital would completely change his life. When Jason entered the examination room, he felt anxious and restless. His declining health made him feel his own helplessness. He had once been a strong, confident man, but now he was a shadow of himself, thin and tired. He sat waiting in the white room, hoping that this doctor could help him, if only to ease some of his pain. The door to the clinic opened, and a tall, young man walked in. It was Michael, the son Jason had abandoned when he was a child, but the two did not recognize each other. To Michael, Jason was just another patient among the hundreds he saw every day. To Jason, Michael was a talented but unfamiliar young doctor. Michael began the examination as usual. He asked Jason about his symptoms, checked his test results, and made a treatment plan. Jason felt Michael's professionalism and dedication, but in his heart, a strange sense of familiarity began to appear. However, neither of them realized the blood connection between them. To Michael, Jason was a patient who needed help, and to Jason, Michael was just a good doctor he happened to meet. The next day, as usual, Emily went to the hospital to bring her son lunch. This was a habit she had maintained since Michael started working here. Emily was proud of her son and wanted to spend some time with him, even if it was just a simple meal. When Emily walked into Michael's office, she had no idea that she was about to face one of the most difficult moments of her life. As Emily entered the room, her eyes met Jason's. Time and illness had changed his appearance, but they could not completely erase the familiar features. Emily felt her heart stop for a moment when she realized that the man sitting on the hospital bed was none other than Jason, the ex-husband she had loved, but who had abandoned her and her son. Jason also recognized Emily immediately. He felt shocked and surprised when he saw his ex-wife enter the room, holding a lunchbox as if nothing had happened. All the memories of the old days rushed into his mind, and he felt a deep regret rising. Emily turned to look at Michael, confused about how to handle this situation. She did not want to hurt Michael, but she could not hide the truth either. Michael, noticing the tension in the air, asked his mother what happened. Finally, unable to keep quiet any longer, Emily revealed the truth that both she and Jason had tried to hide for years. Michael felt his heart clench as he listened to the story. He couldn't believe that the man he was taking care of was his own father, the man who had abandoned him and his mother when he was too young to understand what was happening. This truth left Michael feeling confused, a mixture of pain and responsibility. Despite his heart attack, Michael knew that he couldn't let his personal feelings get in the way of his work. As a doctor, he had sworn to help all patients without discrimination. He decided to continue treating Jason, but this time, not only as a doctor but also as a son. Jason, after learning the truth, could not help but feel regret and sorrow. He felt that he did not deserve Michael's devoted care. But at the same time, he understood that this might be his last chance to redeem himself. He accepted Michael's care, and with each passing day, he realized more and more the value of love and forgiveness. Michael devoted himself to Jason's treatment, not only out of his duty as a doctor, but also because he wanted to bring peace to his heart. He knew that forgiveness was a difficult journey, but it was also the only way for him and his mother to overcome this painful past. Under Michael's devoted care, Jason's health gradually recovered, and he felt more grateful to his son than ever. While Michael and Jason are slowly regaining the connection they lost over the years, William, after a long period of rehab, also begins his journey back to normal life. The years in rehab have forced William to face his mistakes, and more importantly, to realize the consequences that those wrong decisions have caused in his life. When William leaves rehab, he is no longer the wild, rebellious teenager he once was. The traumatic experiences have changed William, making him realize the value of life and the importance of family. However, William knows that rebuilding his life will not be easy. He needs help, needs support from his loved ones, the people he unintentionally pushed away in the past. When William returned home, he felt like a stranger. The house he grew up in, filled with so many memories, now looked so different. There was no laughter, no family warmth. His father, Jason, was in the hospital battling lung cancer, and his mother and younger brother, two people William had few memories of, were complete strangers to him. William decided that the first step in rebuilding his life was to reconnect with his younger brother, Michael. He learned that Michael had been through a lot that he did not know, and that his brother had become a respectable man, a good doctor, and a source of pride for his mother. William felt ashamed of comparing himself to Michael, but he also knew that if he did not start somewhere, he would never be able to escape the darkness of his past. One day, William went to the hospital where Michael worked. When he entered Michael's office, his heart was pounding. Michael, who was preparing for surgery, looked up and saw William standing in the doorway. They both stood in silence for a few seconds, not knowing where to start. Finally, Michael was the first to break the silence. He invited William in, and the two brothers sat across from each other, the distances in the past gradually narrowing. William began to tell about his life, about the mistakes he had made, and about his determination to change his life. Michael listened without interrupting, but with a sympathetic gaze. After a while of talking, William confessed that he felt he did not deserve Michael's forgiveness, but he wished they could start over. Michael, sensing his brother's sincerity, made a decision. He knew that forgiving would not only help William, but also help himself release the pain from the past. Michael said, "We all make mistakes, but what's important is what we learn from them. I'm glad you're back, and I want us to rebuild what we lost together." William, hearing these words, felt his heart lighter than ever. He knew that he had found not only his brother but also a friend, a companion on a new journey. The two brothers decided to become sworn brothers, not only as blood brothers but also as companions, together overcoming the challenges of life. William's return not only marked a turning point in his life, but also the beginning of a new relationship between him and Michael. William was no longer a rebellious teenager, but became a sober man who knew how to appreciate what he had. He decided to find a stable job and start rebuilding his life from scratch. With the support of Michael and Emily, William found a suitable job and gradually reintegrated into society. Every day, William tries to prove that he is worthy of his family's forgiveness and love. He works hard, avoiding the temptations that once let him down. Although the road ahead is full of thorns, William knows that he no longer has to face them alone. He has his family, his brother by his side, and that gives him the strength to continue. Meanwhile, Michael and William are not only brothers but also close friends. They share everything in life with each other, from small joys to great difficulties. Their relationship grows stronger, and together they build a new life where love and understanding always come first. The lives of both brothers gradually stabilize. William has found peace in his heart, and Michael, after all, feels happy to see his brother find the right path again. They know that the future is not easy, but with unity and love, they believe that they can overcome any difficulties. As William settles into his new life and their relationship grows stronger, Emily must also face difficult decisions about her past and future. After what happened, she knows she needs to face Jason, the man who was once her husband, the man she loved, but who also caused her and her son deep pain. Ever since the truth about Michael and Jason was revealed, Emily has felt her heart in turmoil. She has witnessed Michael caring for her father with dedication and professionalism, but she cannot forget the pain Jason caused. Forgiveness is never easy, especially when the wound is so deep. Every time she sees Jason, memories of betrayal and loneliness come flooding back, leaving Emily feeling like her heart is being torn apart. Even so, Emily cannot deny that Jason has changed. In his final years, as Jason faced illness and imminent death, he expressed deep remorse and a desire to make amends for his mistakes. Emily realized that Jason truly wished for a second chance, but that was not enough to erase the pain she had endured over the years. During Jason's treatment, Emily thought a lot about whether or not to give him a second chance. She knew that Michael had chosen to forgive his father, and she felt proud of her son. But she also understood that everyone has a different way of dealing with the past. Emily did not want to be burdened by the past, but at the same time she could not easily let go of what had happened. In the end, Emily decided that she could not give Jason a second chance in a personal relationship. The great pain she had endured made it impossible for her to return to the man who had abandoned her and her son. However, she also understood that Jason had tried his best to make up for his mistakes, and that Michael had chosen to take care of him in his final days and done very well. Emily decided to distance herself from Jason, but she continued to support her son in taking care of his father. She knew that Michael needed his mother's support in his decision, and she didn't want to cause him any more pain or confusion. Emily respected Michael's decision, and that was also her way of showing her love and support for her son. Finally, when Jason passed away, the whole family felt a strange sense of peace. Although it cannot be said that all the wounds were healed, at least they found a way to face the past and accept what had happened. Michael, with kindness and devotion, fulfilled his responsibilities as a son and a doctor. William, after many difficulties, found a new path and was determined to live an honest life. As for Emily, although still carrying the scars of the past, she knew that she was strong and resilient to overcome everything. On a peaceful afternoon, when the three of them, Michael, William, and Emily, sat together, they felt the family bond that they had lost. They realized that, despite many difficulties and challenges, love and patience are always the foundation to overcome everything. The three of them sat together, sharing stories, memories, and plans for the future. Although Jason is no longer with us, the lessons of love, forgiveness, and family that he left behind will stay with them for the rest of their lives. The story ends with a simple yet profound message. Life is not always easy, but with love, patience, and forgiveness, we can overcome any challenge and find true happiness.